Hello, it's Andrea, and welcome to another video in our Reiki 101 series. Because you're interested in this video, I think you might be interested in something I have coming up. It's the Reiki Rays Healing Summit, and registration is almost open. And what's the summit all about? Well, for absolute free, no charge at all, you can access my interview, which is over an hour, as well as over 36 other hours of free Reiki content shared by 35 speakers in all. It's the Reiki Rays Healing Summit, and registration is opening very soon. If you have subscribed to my newsletter, I'll be sending the link to you as soon as you can register. Again, it's free. And as soon as you do register, you'll get access to my interview and 3 others that you can enjoy right now. The summit itself begins in November, so I'll continue to tell you about it and put out the links as we get closer to the summit. All right, let's get on with this video, and I'll tell you what we're going to be covering today. Reiki symbols, I tell you what, I get a lot of questions about symbols. So whether you're Reiki curious or already a practitioner, I hope this video will provide some valuable insights and perhaps some new perspectives for you. I'm going to begin with a textbook sort of approach with my answers, and near the end of the video, I'll explain my personal take on the symbols and how I use them after practicing for almost 30 years. So I hope you'll stick around for that. Let's start by answering the question, what are Reiki symbols? Well, Reiki symbols are representations that focus and direct Reiki energy for certain healing purposes. Many of these symbols are actually derived from Japanese kanji, essentially words or concepts from the Japanese language. Interestingly, Reiki symbols aren't exclusive to Reiki itself, and that might surprise you, but some have deep roots in Japanese culture and spirituality, particularly in Zen Buddhism. For instance, the usui master symbol is said to mean treasure house of the great beaming light in Zen philosophy. Other symbols may have origins in Sanskrit or other spiritual traditions. During Reiki training, students are taught to memorize and draw the lines of each symbol in a specific sequence. And to honor the tradition, practitioners are encouraged to respect the symbols and maintain their privacy. The next question I want to answer is, when do students learn the Reiki symbols? This can vary, but typically the students are introduced to the symbols during their second degree Reiki training. And we also call that Reiki 2 or Reiki level 2. And that's an important milestone for a practitioner because it opens up new dimensions of healing and connection to the Reiki energy. That's where we really get into offering Reiki over distance. In the usui system of Reiki, there are 4 main symbols. 3 of the symbols are taught in Reiki 2, and another symbol is introduced in Reiki 3, or what we might call the master level. It's also important to know that some modern Reiki styles may incorporate different symbols or additional symbols. So what I'll say is I've talked to you about what I practice and teach, Holy Fire Reiki. And in that system, we have added an additional master symbol, and that gives us a total of 5. And then in another set of classes, I guess I should say, that I teach, ICRT Animal Reiki, students actually come into that class already having some of the usui symbols. It would be the usui symbols that match the level of animal Reiki training that they're taking. So they would need the they would need the usui level 2 symbols to take the animal Reiki 1 and 2 class. So 1 and 2 in the human system, those symbols, they come into animal Reiki with those. And at the master level, it's the same. They need the master class in the regular Reiki, and then they come in to the animal Reiki master class, already equipped and practicing with the usui symbols. But what we do in the animal Reiki class is we add an additional symbol to our class, and we use that same symbol in all levels of animal Reiki training and practice. It's a unique method and approach, but it works really well. Another example of how symbols can vary by style is in my Holy Fire Karuna Reiki Master classes. In that class, we actually learn 9 symbols and are attuned to that energy of all the 9 symbols. It's quite a lot, but they're beautiful symbols. And in Karuna Reiki, we actually empower our voice and we tone and chant the symbols, which adds a whole nother dimension of Reiki healing possibilities. So these few that I've mentioned, these few styles, as you can see, um, there can be variations, not only in the symbols, but even how they're used and applied. Some people actually ask, why do we even use symbols in Reiki? And I would say that they're tools that allow practitioners to focus and direct Reiki energy for specific purposes. They act sort of like keys that unlock different aspects or frequencies of Reiki energy. And here's why they're important. They help concentrate and intensify the Reiki energy. Each symbol has a unique purpose and effect, and symbols can be used for physical healing, emotional balancing, distance healing, and more. They can deepen the practitioner's connection to the source of Reiki as well. How do we use Reiki symbols? Well, that I guess would be the next natural question. When we want to use a Reiki symbol, we need to activate it. And how we activate a symbol is a personal choice, regardless of what you may hear out there. I want to set the record straight. Any particular method that you follow to activate the symbols will work. Why? Because the common denominator of activating a symbol is your intention. And so there are some common methods of how to activate the symbols, of course, but it's the intention that is the key here. So some common ways, I'll just mention a few here. We can draw them. So we can draw them in the air, which you might have seen online. Some Reiki practitioners who do Reiki through video, like I do, they'll actually draw the symbol in front of the camera and, that kind of thing. I don't know that I've really ever done that. I just don't think that it's necessary to do that. Maybe it looks better on video, or maybe that's part of their practice and they like doing it like that, which is totally fine. I just don't practice like that, and that's okay because it works regardless. And so we can draw them in the air, as I said. We could draw them over the person that we're offering Reiki to. We could draw them over each of the palms, intending to activate and open the palm chakras where the Reiki energy flows through. And so let's see, anything else? Oh, we could visualize them in our mind. We could say their names either out loud or silently to ourselves. Simply intending to use them activates them. And the power of the symbols actually comes from the attunement during Reiki training. And so it's this attunement that creates the link between the student, the symbol, and the Reiki energy it represents. Are the Reiki symbols even required? This is a great question, and the answer actually might surprise you. While Reiki symbols are tools that we may utilize, they aren't absolutely required to channel Reiki energy. I mean, if we think about it, the founder of Reiki, Mikao Usui, initially practiced without any symbols. He only had access to that special kind of life force energy that we call Reiki at the beginning. The symbols were introduced later to the Reiki system of healing. However, symbols can greatly enhance Reiki practice. They provide focus, amplify the energy, and allow for more specific healing applications. In the Usui system of Reiki and many of its derivatives, including Holy Fire Reiki, symbols have become an integral part of the practice. Another question is, can we use the symbols without a Reiki attunement? This is a common question for sure. And what I've seen, and also what has been widely reported, is that without a proper attunement or a placement in Holy Fire from a qualified Reiki Master Teacher, using the symbols has little effect. And here are some reasons why that's the case. The attunement process creates that energetic link between the student, the symbol, and the Reiki energy. This link is what empowers that particular symbol when you go to use it. Simply knowing or drawing the symbols without the attunement doesn't activate that connection or the energy of it. So the attunement is a required component of Reiki training. Without the attunement, we could call ourselves an energy healer, but not a Reiki healer or a Reiki practitioner. I explained about this in an earlier video in this series. If you want to hear more about it, check it out. This is why Reiki symbols are traditionally kept confidential and only revealed to students during their training. While it's true, of course, you can find Reiki symbols out there online all over the place, actually, and choosing to keep them private just demonstrates a respect for the system of Reiki and your relationship to the different symbols and that energy. You know, we consider Reiki sacred, and the components of Reiki, those are special and passed down from teacher to student. Another thing that I think we might need to talk about a little bit here is the differences that we might see in symbols out there. So they might share the same name, for example. So a symbol name, you might see different variations of what that symbol looks like. Why is that? Well, back in Mrs. Takata's day, at least, we know that she sometimes drew the symbols differently for different students or in different classes. And what that did was, well, there's another issue with that too. She didn't allow her students to write the symbols down and then take the papers from class. So everything was by memory. So, for those two reasons, you can understand why students would leave her classes and they would have a variation of the symbol. And so different lineages would actually be attuned to symbols that looked slightly different. And I hope that makes sense. But so memory, for one thing, because they couldn't take notes and take those symbols out of class. And also, Mrs. Staccato would actually draw them differently from time to time. And so, um, who, uh, uh, depending on this, which of her graduates students learned from, they would actually learn different symbols. Kind of fascinating, right? I bring this up because, in case you run into this, maybe you're practicing Reiki and you're attuned to different symbols. If you see differences out there, don't worry. The symbols that you had shown to you by your Reiki Master Teacher, those are the symbols that are empowered for you to use. We don't need to concern ourselves with the fact that other symbols might be out there and they don't match the symbols that we have ourselves. So it's not a worry, not a concern at all. So here we are at the end of the video, and I promised to tell you a little bit about my take on symbols. And what I would say is I often describe it like a rainbow. A rainbow has a wide array of wavelengths of light, and we see the seven main colors of the rainbow, and all of those colors have a gradient between them. So, yes, we see the seven main colors, but each one bleeds into the next one, and it is really quite beautiful. The way I think about it is when I activate Reiki, I'm activating the full rainbow, the full spectrum of all of the different bands of energy that Reiki is comprised of. And what happens is I'm offering the full rainbow, and then if I activate a symbol, I'm actually intensifying a band of frequency within the rainbow. So I'm making that more vivid, and I'm making that stronger in the full flow of what I'm offering. And so that's how I look at it. So, for example, if I want to bring in um, more energy because I know that the person is anxious, I would activate a symbol or symbols that I've been attuned to that can address that. And so, what that does is it intensifies those frequencies of energy and brings more of that through to help meet that person where they are for their needs at that current moment. But as you can see, do I need to have the symbol? Do I need to activate it? Actually, no, because they are receiving the entire band of Reiki energy. And as we know from an earlier video, Reiki has a certain wisdom to it, and it knows how to best help them. So, Reiki symbols are just tools that we can utilize and bring into a practice to attempt to help and support the client or whoever it is that we're offering Reiki to or ourselves. But again, they are not a requirement. I think it's really interesting to explore the symbols. And so if you are attuned to different symbols, I would invite you to try this. Activate only one symbol and channel the energy, the Reiki energy of only that symbol, and notice what you notice. And then activate a different symbol. So do this one symbol at a time, and you might even do it for a set length of time. Therefore, you're doing the same length of time for each symbol, and it makes it easier for you to compare and contrast. What do you notice? What sensations, what feelings, what comes up for you as you practice each one of the symbols separately? And this can be a wonderful exercise for you to explore Reiki energy, the different frequencies, and how you experience the energy. So I hope that you'll try that and, let me know what you think about that. If you have more Reiki questions, I hope you'll tune in next week. We've got our live stream on Thursday because it is the first Thursday of the month, and that's what we do. And it is October 3rd, I believe, and I'll be on at 11 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. And I'll offer you an original Reiki meditation, and we'll share energy so you can receive and then also broadcast that outward to anyone who has your heart's attention. After that, I hang around and we do some Ask Me Anything. So if you have some questions, I hope you'll attend next week and we'll see how many questions we can answer. It's about a half an hour long. Then, and also if you can't make it, but we'll have the video edited. So I'll just shorten it to the meditation and share portion at the beginning, about that first 25 minutes or so. We'll add music to that and put it on the channel the very next day. I hope you'll join me. If you're not subscribed here to the channel, subscribe. Why not? We do some really nice things here. And I appreciate your presence and your interest in learning more about Reiki. And I'll continue our series, Reiki 101, after the live stream is done next week. Until then, I hope you take really good care, and I'll see you soon.